Sanity friends, thank you so much for joining me here again. Another live stream, another moment, another day that we get to consciously evolve. No. Yeah, consciously evolve consciousness. I guess we can say that as well. Actively evolving consciousness. I appreciate you friends joining me here. Genuinely, it means the world. I hope you're doing well. The question I have for today is one about sanity. You know, it's a it's something that I don't actually feel I have any right to talk about, or I might talk about it in a very naive, potentially uninformed way. But I'm very curious about your friend's perception of that. Have you felt like you were going crazy? What did going crazy mean to you? Upon realizing this feeling of you're going crazy, did it you? Is it something that perturbed you? If you're willing to answer any of these questions, enlighten me, please. Okay. So, today's thing worth saying is just right where you are, practice where you are going. Right where you are, practice where you're going. And the question, what does sanity mean? I'm asking from a very, maybe like a, I don't know if it's insecure, maybe a little bit perspective. Because in my family, I'm kind of considered the crazy one. And with the way that I want to live my life and the things that I believe we're supposed to do, the way we're supposed to interact with this world, the way we're supposed to interact with ourselves within the world, has been flawed, in my personal opinion. This is the way that I've been feeling about it, looking out in the world and seeing that there's just things that aren't working the way they're supposed to, and then expecting to do the same things. You can only be calm. You can only be calm and you can keep showing up. And I've noticed that. I did buy myself this mini self MacGyver water bomb that I'm gonna take a hit of. If you friends want to join me, it is your Sunday still. Sunday morning to most of you, at least. Thank you for joining me, friends. I hope you don't mind. Whew. Yep. Yeah. That's gonna do the job. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's working. If suddenly your entire body feels like it picks up a degree or two. I'm going to be taking sips of water today for sanity. For my own sanity, for my interpretation of sanity, for the sanity of my family members. Like, even if they consider me to be crazy, I'm okay with that. Fundamentally, it's not really something that bothers me that much. But I hope they can let me be crazy. Where are you from? Hypnomaniac. Thank you for the enjoy. I'm from South Africa, friend. I'm from South Africa. And I love this country so much. But being born here, oh man, okay. So these are the things that I'm feeling. Like, number one, I love this country. Number two, this country is a little bit wrecked, like extremely wrecked right now. We don't have electricity for extended periods of time. Like yesterday, from 5 o'clock, we didn't have electricity until this morning again. It's stuff like, not 5 o'clock, was it? Maybe actually, yeah, 5 o'clock. Just didn't have electricity until this morning again. And, we were having this, let's call it a monkey experience on Friday. And me and my friend Christian were talking to one another and just communicating about the fact that he is going to move soon. He's going to the Netherlands. And where we were in that moment was where we needed to be. It was very much an understanding of the place that we find ourselves in is the only space that we're in, no matter where we go. Like where we are, no matter where you go, there you are type of thing. And we kind of came to terms with that. We confronted that fact. And we feel crazy because even though we know that we cannot escape any of it technically, we try to. We run different places. We believe that, okay, if I start doing this, I'm going to not feel so crazy. If I go here, I'll feel a little bit less crazy. If I have people agree with me about this, if they let me do that, and it's these goalposts that we keep placing in front of ourselves, convincing ourselves that, okay, things are bad, but they're going to be better as soon as this. And it keeps us chasing. It keeps us out of this moment. It keeps us away from the rest of life experience that's constantly present. I came to terms again just with this feeling that there is no life more worth living than any other life, genuinely. Like we have these societal interpretations of what success is, and we look down or pity, for instance, homeless people. And I'm not saying every single homeless person does this on purpose, 100% not. But for instance, there are some homeless people that choose to do that. They choose to live in a way that is completely free from the societal understanding of what a good life is supposed to be. And throughout all of that, they're going to be present. They're going to be there for all of it. All of the life experience, all the people they'll get to meet. Some of them potentially bad people, as we all potentially meet bad people through our lives. And they'll have just the same amount of experience as any other person, any other amount of wealth, any other country, any other whatever. And it's the same thing for every single one of us. And if we can realize that, if we can genuinely believe that about our own lives, I think that would be the real key. And unfortunately, it's not easy. And you lose it. Sometimes you do believe it. You're like, oh, look at this. I'm present. This is an amazing experience. I can pull some sort of life satisfaction from that. And then those experiences go away, and we have to reintegrate into the rest of what this reality is. And we're supposed to try and find those things in average things or mundane things. And it can be difficult. It really can be difficult. Looking fresh, good morning. Thank you, Crayon. It's so nice to have you here again, my friends, in a long time. Good morning slash afternoon. Epona mom. Oh, man, it's been forever. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you for letting me know about the Discord thing. I don't know if it actually worked this time around. I remember myself adding it, but I have to get to my computer before I add the rest. I don't know if it's completely ready yet. But thank you so much for letting me know, Epona. Do you meditate? I do, Hypnomaniac. Meditation has been, I think, the most powerful I've felt ever in my life. Genuinely. And it's so counterintuitive. I've exercised and, like, for instance, lat pulls, or I think they call them, no, trap pulls. It's basically you pull weight with these muscles and your back, and you lash onto weight and then you pull it up. And like I remember myself in high school being able to do like 400 pounds and being able to pull that and feeling like that is a sense of power. And then moving out of that kind of understanding of what a powerful person is supposed to be and being able to sit down and meditate and just do nothing for an extended period of time, focus on my breath, become aware of my heartbeat, feel undisturbed by anything, unwanting of it. The experience internally, the experience externally, what sounds there may be, if there's wind or not, if it's hot or not. And it's this almost like checklist that you're constantly going through. And then you bring yourself back to your breath. You start thinking things that you normally don't think. You start having conversations with yourself that you usually avoid. Meditation is a big part of, I believe it should be rather, a big part of everyone's life. And I wonder why it's something that people either avoid or maybe not avoid is the right word, maybe don't understand. I think maybe that's it. You know, especially having Christian parents, meditation or like trying to get them to meditate to them is like foreign. They tell me, oh no, we meditate before we go to sleep. And I'm like, yeah, maybe a little bit, sure. But for some reason, we don't. You know, and I wonder why that is. On Friday, while the monkeys were starting to do their work, if you will, we were split for a bit. And I went outside and I sat and meditated. And it was a surreal experience. Like by the end of my meditation, like I did a 22-minute and 22-second meditation, I wanted to open my eyes, but I couldn't. Like I could, but it was heavy. It was literally heavy. And it wasn't a tired type of heavy. I just wanted to stay in that state. And what happened? Like I remember something happening that, oh, was it? Maybe a little bit. I think I got a little bit cold. And then that coaxed me back inside. And I walk past Christian's door and I knock on his door and I'm like, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. And like, but I'm telling him this after like meditating and trying to keep again my sanity, you know. And it was, as our friend says, actually, Crayon, it was the realization that sanity is an illusion. We're all crazy. We just can't be crazy at the same time. Yeah, yeah. You know, it was a very empowering experience nonetheless. All of it. Staring into the face of insanity is also empowering. But go figure. Fear is a big liar. It tells us things like you can never get better or you will always be like this. You're right, Epona. And it's not even just fear, it tells us that it's our ego. You know, like fundamentally, our ego's drive is to stay alive. And it will do whatever it needs to try and stay alive. That's why change is something that becomes more and more difficult to people the older they get as well. Because your ego and the fundamental way that you understand the rest of the world has been so ingrained in you for so long that trying to change that is literally uncomfortable. And I understand it from a, you know, brain perspective. Your default mode network gets so used to doing things that way. And I understand that it's not really easy to get people out of that. Literally, they don't even know they're a part of it, if you will. And then there are ways of coaxing people out of that state of mind, but all of them have eyebrows raised. You know, and meditation is one of them. Meditation is technically one of them. And it's that default mode network, it makes it difficult to meditate as well. Because you're so used to doing things through this default state of like awareness, the way you communicate, the things you communicate about, the way you move through your environment, be it going to work, be it your apartment, be it the world, whatever. You have these biases almost to how you want to do things, how things should be done. Changing that, like, it's so difficult to change it within ourselves, you know, and that's why I fundamentally understand that trying to change someone else is almost impossible. Because if you have a hard time changing yourself, it's exponentially harder changing another person. We can't like do that, but we can be there for one another through the change. I just tried to find the same type of crazy as me. Me too, Epona. I did the exact same thing. Don't tempt me with a good time. Is your scarf cotton? It might be. It might be. But I don't know. It was a gift from my mom, and my first question wasn't, is it cotton? I would like a hemp one. Hopefully, within the next few years, we'll actually get properly into the hemp industry as well. This is some BS, lol. Thank you. Succulent and knives. It really is. All of it can be sometimes a little bit of BS. And we're the ones that's aware of it. Like it's just this awareness of we are aware, my friend, and thank you for being aware as well. Intellect is fortunately slash unfortunately associated with insanity. That's true, Poop Crayon. That's very true. And it's weird as well, like intelligence, at least our measure of intelligence, isn't very well defined. And not only isn't it well defined, but it also leaves room for other people to be considered unintelligent or unworthy. Like thinking about someone like Einstein, he genuinely believed that every single person is a genius in their own way, in their own medium, in their own world, their own fractal, their own way of existence. And if we can recognize and respect that within one another, that would lead us to a better world as well. The biggest thing with our like quantified measure of intelligence as well is the fact that it doesn't necessarily correlate to either life success or life enjoyment or life happiness. Quite the contrary. A lot of people that tend to be extremely intelligent have a hard time integrating into this reality. You live so much in your own world that the world outside of you is a little bit daunting, almost unflattering. Lane coming in with a "we're all insane." I was thinking about you, Lane. Thank you for joining us, man. Yeah, we're all insane, dude. We really are. One of our friends saying like, I want to read it again. We're all crazy. We just can't be crazy at the same time, Lane. Man, goodness. Oh, goodness. You're so right. You're even more right than I realized you were beforehand. Because on like Friday, I felt like I was supposed to be the one that's sane. Like Christian was going a bit crazy in the best way possible. And because I saw what was happening and how it was, the communication that was had, the interaction, the, the subject matter, maybe, was definitely of the crazy variety. And not in a bad way, obviously not. And then because of that, I took a stance of sanity. I was heaven's advocate. Very, very good boy. And yeah, so you're completely right. Technically, we all are crazy. We just can't be crazy at the same time. Because if we're all crazy at the same time, that's when shit starts hitting the fan. I wish soft skills or emotional intelligence were more valued in our society. Crayon, it's just a matter of time, friend. The things that are valued in our current society tends to be very material based. So if you have skills that produce material goods that can be sold for a profit, then you are seen as valuable. But that model of understanding of existence is expiring very quickly. We have robots that are going to do most of our manual labor within the next 10 years. Imagine 50% of the human population just losing their jobs. What jobs do you think are going to be left? Jobs in the service of humanity. That's the only thing that's left, literally. And robots can do it as well, but humans do it better. So emotional intelligence and what's the other word that you used? Soft skills? I don't know exactly what soft skills are, but it's coming, friend. It's coming. Just keep going, keep learning, keep being your best self. Hey, V-Slag is here. It's been a rough week. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you, my friend. What you want to tell me about your week, Slag? I'm more than willing to listen. What has been rough about it? Do you feel you learned something from the roughness other than life be fucked sometimes? Like, please do tell me. I would love to know. Is being a human being, adult, supposed to be us being sane? That's a very good question, Hertism. Weirdly enough, growing up and becoming an adult has this sense of disconnect that would be considered sanity in a way that it's less chaotic than a child's brain would be. Because as a child, you're sleeping so much and dreaming so much, and as a result of that, your brain is building so much neuronal connectivity And then as you start to age, your brain basically starts to, I want to say trim, or maybe trim, maybe call like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when you snip the excess, is a word for that, but you know what I'm saying. And it basically tries to create a performance map of your basic brain, of the basic functioning, of the basic thoughts you think, and that becomes your default mode network. And weirdly enough, that is what we consider a sane person to be in our current society. Like when a person is a very stable, same dude every day, not too many surprises, kind of repetitive. That is what we consider sane. Oh, this dude is still himself, he's very sane. And it comes with adulthood as well. So maybe, Hutchison, maybe what we consider becoming an adult is supposed to be sane. The book emotional intelligence. Or he's like, soft comment. Hey, what's up? Sarah, thank you for joining us, my friend. I'm doing well. How are you? How's life been treating you? If you're usually outside, is it raining today? Yeah, it is raining today, actually, Lilyco. Thank you for joining us. But I'm not inside just because of the rain today. I'm staying with a friend for like this entire month, and I've been inside for most of it. Hey, Sarah. Sarah, I'll just say, is your shirt real? I hope so. I genuinely hope so, because the only other explanation, if it's not real, is it my skin? Is it paint? Did I camouflage myself into looking like I'm wearing a shirt? I don't know. Yeah, it's a real shirt, friend. Thank you for asking, though. Prune. Revert. Perfect. Thank you so much for giving me that word. Prune is the right word. As we age, our brains become more dependent on our experience slash expectation of social norms. It's just a measure of exposure. You're right. And the words you said that kind of bothers me is social norms. And like me and Christian had this conversation as well this weekend, how all of these social norms are just these rules, these rules that are set up in our society that make things incompatible. Rules of passports and visas, rules of like what you're supposed to do to be successful, rules of what a family is supposed to be and supposed to mean to you, rules of how you're supposed to spend your time with friends. Like they're just these rules that separate us further and further from the enjoyment slash active involvement in our experience and in our relationships. And it is something that we accept. It's this weird, we know their rules, and me being, or at least believing that I'm a little bit of a rebel, I want to break rules, but at the same time I understand why they're in place and I respect them. I don't necessarily follow all of them, at least when it comes to societal rules of what you're expected to do, but I do respect them and I understand why they're in place, or at least why we have manifested them as humanity, as a collective. But that it's not the only way. I think that's the real thing as well. Like realizing that it's not the only way and being respectful of the different ways of possibilities is the only way forward. Are you a vampire? No. I have no idea what you're talking about. Vampires. Like those that transform when the moon is up, right? uh, no, Ren. I have canines. Weirdly enough, it was something I was very chuffed about when I was in high school, but not anymore so much. What does it mean to be me? It's insane. A supportive friend, a wonderful dancer slash roller skater, a beautiful smiler, an inspiration. That's what you are, Sensei. Thank you for joining me, my friend. It's so nice to have you. Slag says he doesn't even want me to be sad, so I just need to honor him by taking care of myself and people around me. I've been super selfish this whole week. It's very visceral. Did I miss your previous message, Slag? I think maybe I did. It doesn't mean it doesn't even want he doesn't even want me to be sad. So I just need to honor him by taking care of myself, people around me. I've been super selfish this whole week. It's very visceral. Slag, you get to be selfish sometimes, my friend. You know, if you're being selfish to the extent where you're hurting other people, then obviously there's room for improvement. But I don't feel that's the case with you. If you're being selfish to take care of yourself first because you're feeling untaken care of, you deserve that as well. Don't be too hard on yourself. Means you suck at speaking Dutch. What does it mean to me? Shame. I'm happy that I could come with the ice cream since Slag is throwing mud. Well said. Thank you so much, Crayon, genuinely. You are the culmination of all the decisions and experiences you've had till this very second in your life, including me replying to you, and including me replying to that you just said is now becoming a part of my life, and me saying these things is now becoming a part of both of your lives. Fractals all the way out. Is that what it means to be sane? What does sane mean to you? It's insane. Like you literally have the word sane in your username. What does sane mean, dude? What does sane mean in the context of people's interpretation of your interpretation being insane? You know, especially that question is something that kind of makes me curious, especially when it comes to my relationship with my parents and my siblings. You know, my understanding of the world, understanding of how we're supposed to be interacting with the world and with each other, is in their eyes insane. And I don't want to concern them. If that makes sense. Gaming? Hydrosaur, I'm guessing. I'm finally watching your stream live. How are you doing? I'm doing well, my friend. Thank you for joining me as well. It's so nice to have you here. How are you? How's life been treating you? Has it been fair? Like that question, just asking yourself can be a little bit painful. Like, has life been fair? No. And then saying no sometimes just feels like you're not being truthful. And you're like, yeah, maybe a little bit fair. Hmm. Any theory on how the Chodas makes its shape? Uh, I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to answer that question. Probably because of genetic expression, if anything. Sane is knowing your own personal balance. Hey Mojo, it's nice to have you here again, my friend. How have you been? How's life been treating you? Has it been loving? Please do tell me. What have you learned? Anything. If you'd be willing to share, I'd love to go create with you. And personal balance. Personal balance. Christian has a tattoo on his body. There's a downward stripe, then a cross stripe, and then a dot here and a dot there. And me and him, we use the same shower, and on the shower door there is this like little pattern as well. So when I take my shower, when he takes his shower, both of us are looking at this symbol that basically symbolizes power and balance. You know, we literally are the ones in power. We're, me and you actively in this experience that we're having, we're choosing to be here. We're the ones that are in power. We're the ones that are expressing, taking our power and using it to be in this space together. And knowing that is gives me at least a sense of, I don't know if it's relief. Maybe actually, yeah, it gives me a sense of relief. And then realizing in that sense of relief that you're supposed to have power, you're supposed to have balance as well with that power. Keeps you sane, maybe, I think. Maybe that's the thing we're supposed to get at. Hey, Bushan, bro, you not outside? I haven't been outside since yesterday. Yesterday I was outside again, but I'm staying with a friend right now, and we're at his dad's place. We're in his apartment right now. It's on the third floor. I'm inside right now, my friend. It's nice though. Mm. What is Insane saying? He's saying, I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. Lord, forgive me for things I can't understand. Do you think God will punish you for things you don't understand? That seems a little bit mean, in my opinion, right? How can you expect to judge something if it literally doesn't understand? That's like judging a baby for whatever it does without knowing. Judging yourself or as a kid touching a hot stove top because you didn't know it was gonna burn you. Maybe someone did tell you. Like there's no, I believe judgment, and this seek for forgiveness. Like forgiveness is for the forgiver. Fundamentally, forgiveness is for the forgiver because you're setting someone free. And through you setting someone free, they can feel set free as well if you express it that way. But if you hold on to that hatred, you're not going to be free from it. So forgiveness is for you, literally. So this understanding of forgiveness is a beautiful one, but it's been twisted into this deification slash expectation that you're supposed to ask forgiveness from something else. God is literally, if there is a God, if there is a creator, you can just call it the universe, is literally a set of infinity, something that is ever expanding, something that is without limit. Why would he have any judgment towards you? Especially because of the things you don't understand. Is insane. You're just loved. You are just loved, dude. Infinitely loved. Actively loved. Just look at this experience we're in the middle of, dude. It's beautiful. You mentioned Einstein. He had a decent theory on insanity. Here's the mindfuck. He never attempted to define sanity. Ooh. Do you wanna, if you'd be willing to cry on, like go and find some things that's insane that Einstein said about insanity? I would really like to know actually. I think sane is just a label society has put on the people who fall in a group which is the most suited for the rat race. If you know what I mean. Raju, perfect. That's literally what I've been saying as well, my friend. And it feels manipulative. And I understand, from a financial slash societal, what's the word I'm looking for? A societal economic flourishing. It makes sense to have those rules in place. But from a perspective of human happiness, it falls apart a little bit. And then we are the insane ones for suggesting something like that. There is some comfort in insanity. You kind of touch past the veil a little, but who knows? It's okay though. I'm okay with it. I'm present in it, and I'm gonna continue through it. Sane to me is two levels: sinsane, insane, wild, free, extroverted, confident, crazy, doing whatever. Sane is stable, witty, wise, structured, grounded, goal-oriented, willing to break the mold. It's insane in the membrane. I like that, dude. Yeah, I like that a lot. I almost want to read it again. It's insane, wild, free, extroverted, confident, crazy, doing whatever. Sane is stable, witty, wise, structured and grounded, goal-oriented, willing to break the mold. Dude, willing to make our own molds. How about that? Creating jobs for ourselves that don't even exist yet. I was having a weird set of thoughts. Not weird in like a, you know what? I'm gonna explain myself. I was just having a weird set of thoughts about what I would like to do, maybe in the immediate future, like within the next 2 years as well. Just the means to survive. There's so many things you can do, but I want to do something that I feel is helping people, actually being at service of humanity. Fucking sick. Yeah, I mean, it's insane as a word magician as well. In the DC comics, Joker is said to be super sane, meaning he is so sane that he sees the world as it is now, not as it is shown to him. Yeah, Raju. That's what that's what sanity is, dude. And it's trippy, bro, because you become the insane one. I actually watched the Joker this week with Joaquin Phoenix. I think I said that right. And it was super comforting because he kept trying, well, till the end. I mean, he's trying still, Vomit Slag. He's just trying to kill people now. Let's try not to go that far. You should become a guru in India. It's big business. Everyone's going doing it, pal. I don't really consider myself a guru, unfortunately, friend. You know, I don't think I'm nearly close to being able to tell other people how they're supposed to live their lives. I'm still trying to figure that out myself, you know. And thankfully, I have all of you friends that share perspective with me, and that helps me grow exponentially. But no, like these things that we're doing right now, we're all the gurus. You know, we're teaching one another, and that's the fundamental truth of all of it. We could just continue. I'm from India. It's a dying business, a dying industry now. Good. That sounds good, Raju. Like I feel it's exploitation of people anyway, and some people benefit from having a guru because it's someone that basically perturbs your mind. You know, is going to stir the pot, metaphorically speaking, and there's other things that do that as well. You know, meditation definitely does that, yoga definitely does that, breath work definitely does that, psychedelics definitely do that, and all of these things can be tools for like spiritual self betterment. But I feel a guru can sometimes be a little bit pretentious in that. I mean, it can be a good thing, you know. I'm not being judgeful of that. I just don't see myself being that anytime soon. Mm, Einstein loosely defined insanity as attempting the same thing over and over again while expecting different results. That is true, Crayon. Oh goodness, I am insane. Would you look at that? Good. I'm happy to have a stamp of insanity. Thank you, Einstein. I respect you and I love you still. Oh, didn't know that. Need a new master plan now, right, Saul? Alright, definitely believing in something and supporting priests and truth seekers, though, like Buddhists supporting philosophy, I suppose. I mean, technically, Buddhism isn't that big part of India. Like, India has the Hindu religion, I believe, he's like, and it's also a beautiful religion as well. Like, so much nuance. An extreme amount of nuance. It's all beautiful. It's all interpretation. It's all a story. It's all a way of pretending. We're just pretending. Man, what do you want to pretend to be? That's the question you have to ask yourself. A teacher, guru, is no less than a friend, no more than a friend. And here we are, being friends of one another, Ryan. Thank you. I appreciate you, friend. I think it was Steve Jobs who said, if you ask yourself in the mirror, if this was my last day, is what I'm doing today the best use of my time? If the answer is no, a few times in a row, time to do something different. That's a very good point, Sensei. You know, and yet, I feel like I can ask myself that question within like this state of existence we're in right now. And I genuinely feel like I would die right now every single time doing this, no matter what. Like I hope these conversations are helping you friends as much as they help me. Like you friends genuinely like help me push forward, growing more and more. Yeah, but we should learn to separate the fake ones from the real ones. Like I feel there are no fake ones, Raju. Like genuinely, I just feel it's different levels of pretending. We're all pretending, you know, like none of us actually know. And the way we pretend, and as a result, the actions that we choose to do in our pretend, if you will, is going to potentially benefit or hurt other people. And if we can maximize the benefit of other people, that is what we're supposed to do. Like trying to weed out, if you will, or separate the fake ones from the real ones is a futile task because fundamentally all of us are being fake just by being an ego, being a persona, you know, pretending to be a human being. Yeah, we're just pretending, dude. And it's a beautiful part of this existence. It's supposed to be this way. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But we are pretending. And realizing not only that we have the power to be more, by understanding the fact that we're pretending, we can be present, where your life, your current existence, your current experience of this reality is the most divine role, divine moment, divine experience any being could ever ask for. Just, oh, and then you went and opened the fridge. Cool. No one has ever opened the fridge in exactly the way you just did. Had the breathing pattern, walking up to it, had all of the cells, dancing about, breaking stuff down, killing things, rebuilding you, renewing you. The way you breathe, the way you gait, the feeling of the floor on your feet, the feeling of the wind as you push through it. Literally an active experiencer, ceaselessly creating just by being you. And then you realize you're constantly doing that. And you're never separated from it either. And you cannot be separate from it. And that can be a scary thought. It can be like a feeling of being trapped, but you're not trapped. You're just within it. And it. Fake it till you make it, right? Do you think we have free will? If so, why? So, yes, I do believe we have free will, but I believe our free will gets infinitely exercised in different ways. So, I believe in the understanding of different dimensions, and each dimension is a larger set of infinity that encapsulates a smaller set of infinity, or a smaller dimension, if you will. So, for instance, a five-dimensional understanding of a reality can potentially encapsulate all of four-dimensional existence. So our dimensions of space, length, width, and height, and then the dimension of time. These four dimensions can technically be encapsulated within a fifth dimension, all of it. So all of the potential experience in this reality can be captured within this. And then within that set of infinity, fifth dimensional set of infinity, technically there will be no free will, because you're going to be a part of a larger set of infinity, looking down on a smaller set of infinity, within which all the things that you were going to do is captured. And as a result of that, it won't look like you have free will. But because you're now in a larger set of infinity, you have free will again, and then it just goes all the way up, all the way down. It's a little bit of a loop where you're like, oh, that's what I believe, and it's a bit much, and it might be crazy, but like that's the best way that I could ever try to explain it. Utilitarianism, eh? No, I don't even know what that word means properly, actually. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I'm referring only to the truth seekers. I certainly don't really support organized religion, yo. Organized religion is just like hope machines. Hope machines, hope, guilt, and fear machines. So they're like, oh, there's things to be afraid about. Come here. We're gonna guilt you into coming here so we can give you hope. And then it's that. Just chomps out. Nobody said anything about utilitarianism here. Yeah, it's okay, Sensei. Just logged in. What do we have for being sane so far? What do we have for being sane so far? We have an insane world, late mycologist, literally. A world that is exploding slowly, technically. I mean, it's just getting a little bit warmer, but you know what I mean. And, the fact that you're called late mycologist, I don't know if that's an auto-generated name, but we have literal mushrooms that are going to help us try and save this planet. We have mushroom species that literally follow humans around. In places where we hurt the soil, mushrooms start popping up to actually recuperate things. We're in a cohabitation with all of it. We're not separate from any of it, but we're existing right now as human beings in a way as if we're separate from the rest of reality. Like the rest of reality is just this thing to be used almost, and the best way that I can suggest, for you to think about it differently is to literally expand your ego. Expand your ego to encapsulate the entire earth, not just this individual body. And when you do that, every single person getting hurt, every single plant, like for instance, someone just hitting a plant with a stick for some reason, like that's something that viscerally bothers me when I see it. And I don't know if I'm just being a little bit much. Like every single offense to the rest of reality, or the rest of the place that you see around you, is an offense to you because it's an attack on you. And if more people can do that, they would realize cutting down entire rainforests is like cutting a piece of their own lungs out. Pouring oil into the oceans or into rivers is like injecting oil into your veins. And if people can like genuinely, viscerally feel into that understanding of this reality that we're in, this world is going to become a better place. But that interpretation, that way of seeing yourself in the world and seeing the world as part of yourself, that's insane. That's now me being insane. And it's weird. It's so weird. And you're completely right, late mycologist. Like, what has being sane like brought us so far? Hasn't been only good. I'm gonna jet for now. If you're on in a bit, I'll catch you back up with you. Thanks for the great convo, as always. Thank you, Crayon. You were a wonderful co-creator, my friend. I genuinely appreciated you, and still do. Isn't he the same one that said insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results? That is exactly it. Yeah, you're completely right. Epidemic. Sanity is a donkey called Journey. Hope your leg is feeling better. I hope your leg is feeling better. I didn't know your leg was hurt, but I hope it gets better soon. Thank you for joining us, Epidemic. If there is no free will, that it is a miraculous illusion. So either way, I think I am okay. Yeah, you're completely okay, Ryan. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, with this experience. We can do weird shit, and even if it isn't free will, Christian is making some sounds as well. Even if it isn't free will, it's fun, and that's, as you're saying, it's a miraculous illusion, even if it's not real. Oh, I missed the comment. It's very true, but yet we still keep doing the same crap over and over. Yes, we do, but we make the same mistake so many times. It's insane saying. Funny about the Einstein thing. If we flip it, sanity definitely isn't trying different things and expecting the same results. However, in my life, that's what I'm doing, what I'm experiencing. It makes me feel insane doing different things, getting the same results. Oh man, you see, like this, it's insane. Like I've never, had an experience like the one I'm having right now. Just you sharing something like that and knowing a bit of your life, having had conversations with you, I understand exactly what you're saying. Like to the T, I understand what you're saying. And man, as you're saying, like technically you're doing what the interpretation of sanity is supposed to be, and it's driving you insane. And I wonder if it's driving you insane just because you're getting the same results, or if it's driving you insane because you're not getting the results you want. Because I fundamentally believe you're not failing at any of it. Like the stuff you've been doing has literally been you creating these different layers of experience, of understanding, of skill, of interpretation, of growth, of conscious evolution throughout all of it. And you literally cannot stop consciously evolving. It's impossible. Literally me picking up this glass, moving it here, saying 1, 2, 3, preparing myself some more remembering that I set the intention of sanity. Now I'm consciously different. I'm literally not the same person I was just a few seconds ago. And we keep doing that. We are constantly in flux, constantly changing. And we just have to encourage that, embrace that, live into that. As soon as I'm emotionally stable again, I'm definitely tripping. Probably in around a month, it's gonna be an important part of my healing process. I absolutely feel that, Slag. Good morning, Susie. It's so nice to have you here, my friend. I appreciate your presence. I agree completely, Slag. Like, it's been a very beautiful process to me as well. Like, having a few experiences with, like, psychs Very beautiful. And I believe it can really help for healing. How are you? I'm doing well, Susie. I'm doing really well. I feel stable. I feel calm. I feel present. How are you? It's nice to have you here, genuinely. I hope you're doing well. Has life been fair? Has life been fair? Getting the same results. So you're thinking of sanity in a much more macro sense, not as much the definition of your personal sanity. I'm just asking, I'm not trying to set any boundaries, set any definites. I feel these questions kind of get our minds running as well a little bit. I mean, just Sensane's mind running a little bit, what he just shared with me. Like, I would never be able to think about something like that if it wasn't for this question being asked, and as a result of that, things being said, and as a result of that, one of you friends talking about, well, me talking about Einstein, one of you friends talking about Einstein's definition of insanity, and then Sensane's interpretation of that becoming the reverse of that, what sanity is supposed to be. Like, so many steps were taken, and it started with us showing up here. And that to me is beautiful. I cannot I cannot let that go, and we're doing it constantly. Late mycologist. Only seeing you just now. Have a good one. Cookie Monster. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a good one as well. Thank you for joining us. See you in a second. Sometimes we hit our head against the wall. Maybe we should wear a helmet. that would help. That would help. But we learn. We're like, oh fuck, this bumping my head against the wall thing hurts a little bit. Maybe I should wear a helmet. And then we do. And then we grow, and then we experience more. I think there might still be a little bit of blood left in here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of your love for me. Hey, it's Candace. Thank you for joining me, my friend. It's so nice having you here. Charles Lol. It's 7 a.m. Are you up early or are you up super late, Susie? It's nice to have you here. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for joining us. That's a good thing to think about. To do many tasks, I must take on the mental state of no expectations, but in hindsight, I try to create patterns of understanding, and yes, the expectations don't match. That's not an experience in the present. The expectation is the problem, I believe, is insane. Unhappiness is expecting things to be differently. Unhappiness is expecting things to be differently, and that expectation is the thing that fundamentally trips us up, because we're like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be, and then we're like, yep, I'm not happy because it's not that way. I am always up early and always smoking. It's legal here though. So I have the cartridges, which are handy. Ooh, I'm not jealous. I'm happy for you, Susie. I've only smoked a THC cartridge once in my life, I think. And it was a good experience. I'm hoping you're having a good time. Thank you for being up early and for joining me in this moment. That's not the experience in the present. I'm throwing shit at the wall, hoping something sticks. Sensei, we're gonna do it, dude. We're gonna do it. We just need some time, bro. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm looking at you. Oh, we're doing it together. Aiden? Aiden, dude. Thank you for joining us, man. It's so nice having you here, bro. I've missed you. I love you. I was thinking about you a lot as of late. I'll have a private conversation with you. And I understand you even more now, Aiden. I love you, dude, genuinely. You're usually outside. It's a little bit of a change of pace, isn't it? Do you appreciate it? Highway caveman? I'll be outside soon, though, very soon. That bubbler is so cute. It is, it attaches to plastic bottles, which is less than ideal. Maybe I'll get a glass one, but I got it today, and it's a water pipe. Cools the smoke down, isn't as hot. Does deliver a lot more punch per pack, if you will. So not smoking the entire joint, which helps as well. Estia, you kill me. No, I miss you, Candace. It's so nice to have you here. I'm happy that you're enjoying this time with me as well. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling present. And I'm I'm feeling less guilt than I ever have. And that's a very freeing experience as well. We guilt ourselves so much, we hurt ourselves, we tell ourselves that we're horrible. And that fundamentally is what trips us up as well. So much love to you. You are the best goofy possible to experience in the day. Stop it. You're flattering me now, Candace, not you. Like, I hope your kids are so well. Send those girls love from me if you want to. And I hope your drawings are still going well. I'm really missing seeing them. I'm here. Unhappiness is expecting things to be different. You feel that, right? You feel that, Sinsen. I know you do. I know you do, dude. And it's difficult not to expect things. We're brought up to expect things. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear that as well, Candace. Like, fundamentally, an expectation, I think, is something that is useful in some senses because it kind of pushes us forward in a way where we expect certain things of ourselves, and then as a result of that, we have to do certain things to realize those expectations. And in that way, it can be a drive forward. But when we start to expect things from our environment or from other people, and we want those things to be differently, that's when we make ourselves unhappy because it's something outside of our power. And if you can't influence it, why are you worrying about it? Susie says, there's a whole generation going through this in America, but having to revise plans is like a countrywide mental crisis. That's true, Susie. We are in the midst of the biggest mental health epidemic slash crisis that we've ever experienced. People are not happy. That there are these freaking articles of like, oh, we are in the midst of the most extreme depression ever. We need a new antidepressant drug. And it's like, no, we don't need better drugs. We need a better social system. Do you see the overdose numbers from America? I did. It's devastating, Susie. And the worst part about it is as well is these overdoses are almost like the end result of the broken medical system as well. Prescribing extreme amounts of opioids to people. Like McQueen is saying, I'm making a friend whose husbands come over and we play RPG. She's on the same vibration as me. I'm so happy that I have a friend now that I can invite over and we can bake stuff. That sounds amazing. I'm so happy you have a friend, Candace. You were telling me that you had a hard time, finding anybody to like have one-on-ones with. So it's so wonderful to hear that. You deserve a wonderful friend. I hope you have the best conversations, Candace. So the saying is, I'm afraid to expect things from others. That's why asking for help is so difficult for me. I'm shaking in my bones thinking about asking others for assistance. Me too, it's insane. Oh, me too, dude. And the closer I get to asking, the less I feel I'm supposed to, or the less I feel I'm likely to succeed. And then as a result of that, I am probably less likely to succeed. Oh, dude, getting mauled. We're actually getting mauled by life sometimes. And what can we do? Other than be present for it, be like, oh, yeah, extreme pain, nice. Asking for help literally hurts. Yeah, Susie. It literally hurts, and like, what are we supposed to do other than go through that experience? It's like, it's not even an expectation anymore. It's just a reality. Mutual helping of one another, I think, is maybe where we're supposed to get. And I feel the first step to that is just the realization that we're all fundamentally one. Another person's happiness is the happiness of the whole, is the happiness of you. In the same, like the same way, same, the same is true the other way around as well. Like if you can be, if you have the opportunity to be happy in an experience, not in a selfish way where you're the only one left happy. Let's say you're alone completely, and you have the opportunity to be happy, to be joyful, to be grateful for what you have in that moment. You should absolutely take that opportunity, because I genuinely believe in doing that, in being the expression of love in whatever we do, be it making our bed, a coffee, cooking for someone, smiling at someone while you're driving past them. You can be the expression of love no matter where you are. And you should be. At least, I mean, should be like I want to be, and I hope that you are as well, my friend. Susie, there's a really cool short film on Omeletta. Oh, I love Omeletta. About this, that we are all each other, and every existence is ours. That when we are bad to each other, it's just to ourselves. Like that's just a beautiful like a visual representation of that. But if you've ever tried like an extreme mental expanding experience and you look into the eyes of another person, you can literally see yourself in them. You just forget because you're too preoccupied with what you see instead of realizing it's the exact same thing the other way around, another person looking out at you. We are all fundamentally the observer of our experience, and then all of the rest of it gets attached to it. Observer, brain, ego. No. Observer, brain, body, ego. Like that's, I feel, the layers we attach to ourselves. Viking Queen says, I used to have a problem asking for help, but I don't put an expectation. I just ask, and if they can, they can. If they can't, they can't. I accept the fact, and I believe my help will be, or will come in another form. I agree completely with that, Candace. And thank you so much for telling me that as well. That's the best way you can do it. You know, it's the way I'm gonna have to do it eventually. Expectations are like a roller coaster in the dark. Ooh, would a roller coaster in the dark be fun? I think in some ways it might be, but for most of it, it's just going to be absolutely terrifying. When we were in Arizona on the mountain broke living in our tent, and we had 6 popped tires within 2 weeks and a snowstorm was coming in, we just expected the universe would handle things, and it did, my friend. You know, nothing, there will be no challenge too difficult for you to overcome. And realizing that is something that can be very empowering. Feel all of it, friends. Feel sad, feel happy, feel angry. Only one rule. Don't die. You cannot die, okay? You cannot die. Sure enough, the day before it snowed, we were put in a hotel for a month and my husband got a job that we got us enough money to help. It's the universe just being the way that it is. You know, and like Teddy's words have been in my mind, Candace. You cannot die. You cannot die. Can be jarring. It can be jarring. You're completely right. You're completely. So much real estate. I want to make a highlight reel of this talk today. If you would be willing to, Sensei, and I would love that, my friend. This has been an amazing conversation we've had together. Observer, brain, body, ego. How do you feel about that forever? How have you been, friend? It's so nice to have you here again. I hope the drinking has been a little bit easier. You can take that as you may. Observer, brain, body, ego. And then sometimes persona onto that as well. And it's this further and further separation from that which you always are. The observer of. All that I am is the I that we are, my friends. I will wait for your YouTube video. The YouTube video is technically live right now, Sensei. It might not be the best quality, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you appreciating these streams, man. Like, I genuinely believe the more we do this, the better we get at it. And that's one of the biggest things that drives me to doing it so frequently. I love it. It's literally like mental boot camp. The day the 6th tire popped, my husband drove on that tire knowing it was popped, and he drove on the rim. We parked and walked a mile up a mountain. What an experience that must have been, Candace. You know, I'm like trying to imagine, interpolate myself into Teddy's kind of perspective, what it must feel like to be the masculine in that state, and then going through all of that must have been so difficult to him as well. And it makes me so happy to see that there is stability and like positive repercussions from doing and going through that type of stuff. A lady stopped and asked if we wanted to ride, and Teddy said, "Take the kids and my wife to our camp, please." Later down the road, the woman asked if she should go back and pick Teddy up. I said no. He needs leisure right now. He needs Jesus, lady, leave him be. Leave him be. Like I was literally talking about that masculine interpretation of how I would want to process that, and then you literally said, like how the difficulties must have been, what he had to go through. So, thank you for being so in tune as well, my friend. Expectation breeds inauspicious presentation. Expectation breeds inauspicious presentation. If you think things will go a certain way, you will always be let down by reality. Exactly. Unhappiness is expecting things to be differently. So if you expect things to go a certain way and they don't go that way, you're going to be unhappy fundamentally. Teddy said he was telling, it was yelling, I guess, at trees and everything. He came back to camp and meditated for a very long time. It sounds like a wonderful experience nonetheless. That anger can be something so driving, visceral almost. I'm having an Ask Me Anything next Saturday, by the way, guys. I would love if you drop a question in the RPAN threads that is sticky. Thank you so much, Sensei. I would love that actually. Like Saturday, I might be a little bit busy, so I might like watch it on backlog. I have a friend coming over to the place, but I would love to like ask a question actually. My friends, I am going to say goodbye for today. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me. The conversations we've had makes me feel a little bit more sane, and I appreciate that so much. I love you, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, Candace. Tell Teddy and the kids I love them as well. I appreciate you being here with me. And goodbye to you other YouTube friends as well. See you again.